Buonasera and welcome to Tortellino time. It is really cold outside, temperature approximately half a degree, and I fancy something really hearty and something warm that reminds me of sunny Sicily. Also, I'll be cooking for just one person tonight. Julie's gone to an exercise class, so I'm using the opportunity to cook something where Julie's not always that keen, because it's a Sicilian pasta which has got breadcrumbs, and she's never too keen on the combination of pasta and breadcrumbs, but I absolutely love it, and I'm sure that you will love it too. This is a dish from Palermo, the big capital in Sicily, and it's called pasta con broccoli arriminati. And ironically, although they mention the word broccoli, it is not broccoli what they use, it's cauliflower. I'm not sure why that is, because they do have cauliflower in Sicily, but maybe it's a tradition. If anyone from Sicily, from Palermo, might be watching this channel, maybe they can explain it to me. I have removed enough florets from my cauliflower head for one person, and I've chopped them into little pieces. I'll add a little salt in a pot with cold water, and this will be the same water I will be using also to cook the pasta. And I'll turn this on, and once the water starts boiling, I'll turn it down slightly and I'll leave them to blanch for about 10 to 12 minutes. And as soon as the water starts boiling, to make it quicker, I put the lid on and they'll cook considerably faster. I'm adding a little oil in a small saucepan, followed by a very generous dessertspoon of dried breadcrumbs, the part that Julie don't like. And I mix everything together. I want to roast the breadcrumbs, and the oil will obviously get nice and hot, and the colour will change from white to a lovely golden one. But do ensure that the temperature is on a medium setting, otherwise you run the risk of burning them. And within a few minutes they're done. They've turned into this lovely browny, golden, rich colour, and I will remove them from the heat now. In the meantime, my cauliflowers have cooked and they are ready, and I think I can turn them off safely. I will be draining them, but I'm gonna be keeping the water because I'll be using this for the pasta. I think I managed to catch as much as I can, and I'll put this on one side to cool down, and I'll get on with the rest of the ingredients. As I'm cooking for just myself, I will only need half of an onion, and this is red, but I like red onions, but you can also use a white onion if you prefer. I slice it in relatively small pieces like this, it's fine. Olive oil in a new pan. My onion can go in, and I'll turn it on and start frying it. The onion has been sizzling for a good couple of minutes and it is slightly soft, and I'm now adding some anchovies. These are a couple of small fillets. If you're vegetarian, by the way, do not miss out on this recipe. You can use capers instead of anchovies. Here, I'll show you what they look like. I just got a jar here. What you need to do is just get 1 teaspoon if it's one person, 2 teaspoons if it's 2 people, of course, and so on, and just rinse them under water and add them now instead of the anchovies, just as delicious. But if, like me, you're using anchovies, you can see that by going in with a fork and crushing them, they will all disappear and mix with the oil. And although it's a small thing, they will add a considerably unique and distinctive flavor to the whole dish. Here I've got a teaspoon of tomato puree, which I will add as well, and I'll mix everything together to create a wonderful and flavorful base, which is when I can add all of my cauliflower now. These are raisins, a very typical ingredient in many Sicilian dishes. I will be putting a couple of level teaspoons, like that. And in Sicilian cuisine, very often, where you find raisins, you will also find pine nuts, and I'm going to add 1 teaspoon, maybe a little bit more, of pine nuts as well. And I always think that the sweetness of the raisins in this dish beautifully offset the anchovies. And of course I'm mixing everything together now so that the cauliflower absorbs all of that beautiful base I've just made. And besides being delicious, this is also a very easy and quick recipe, and I'm ready for the pasta. Generally they use bucatini in Sicily, which is a bit like spaghetti. Here I got them in my hand, but they've got a hole in the middle and they're a little bit bigger. I do not have any bucatini, so spaghetti will be fine. But you can use also short pasta. For example, penne or rigatoni also go very well with this particular recipe. But I'm using the same water from before. It's already salted and the water is boiling, so I can add my pasta now. And I will cook my pasta until it's just before al dente, so that I can finish cooking it with the cauliflower. Let's try some of the pasta to see what it's like before we commit. That's perfect. Just a couple of minutes before al dente, and it's a good time to now move it across. And I'll move all of the pasta with the cauliflowers now. There you go. And I've added a little water as well, because this has got lots of starches from the pasta, which will help in making the sauce nice and creamy, but also I need to finish cooking the pasta. If I was a professional chef, most probably I would be tossing this up in the air, but it's not necessary. Just use a wooden spoon and keep your kitchen nice and clean. And after a couple of minutes of further cooking in the pan here, it's ready, so I can now serve it up. I think I've made a lot more than what I meant. There's quite a lot there, but that'll be fine. I'm sure that when Julie comes back, she will taste some. Before I add the roasted breadcrumbs, just a little drop of olive oil to enhance its flavor. And the very last touch is the breadcrumbs on top that I'm sprinkling. This is a very traditional Sicilian thing, of course, but there you go. And as I've cooked spaghetti, I'm going to use a spoon and a fork, which is very traditional in Sicily to do this. You get hold of the pasta and you go around and use your spoon as the base. And let's try some. It's amazing. It's so delicious. It's so simple to make. It reminds me of home. And on a cold day like this, at the very least, my tummy is nice and warm. Arrivederci and grazie, and I hope you make it. Ciao ciao and buon appetito.